Hello, welcome to my channel Conscious Growing. I'm Matthias, and today I want to talk about a part in our body, and this part is the jaw. And if you know this channel for a while, you know that all these videos are about some reflections and also some ways that help me out of chronic fatigue, chronic symptoms, chronic pains, after my long COVID infection, or better to say, after two corona infections. And so my personal background is I'm an Alexander Technique teacher, and I was teaching this method for about 20 years. And the better I got, the more this old knowledge came back to me. And one of the main understandings is that the jaw plays a huge role. So if you are struggling with anxiety and chronic symptoms for a while now, you have surely noticed that you have to deal with lots of inner and outer tensions, lots of pains, and as some of you know, that the main cause are suppressed emotions, and that these suppressed emotions, they want to come up, and this is a process, and this is nothing that works from one day to the other, and it doesn't usually isn't enough to experience some emotions on one day and then they just went the other day. It's an ongoing process, and everybody needs its own time. But what I found out, or what I rediscovered, was that the jaw plays a huge role. Because when you are full of anxiety and full of physical symptoms, then it's definitely sure that the body is tensed, the muscles are tensed. Even there's lots of adrenaline in the muscles, and this even causes more tension and so on. And if you're dealing with this, you surely found yourself being in a very tense state, and this tension is always is not always, but it's also in the jaw. And sometimes you can be so tense there that it even causes headaches and dizziness and all kinds of stuff. And what I want to share here today is just the idea of allowing some relief in your jaw. And if you're watching this video, you can join me for this little practice and this little observation, or you just watch it once and you can watch it again and then practice on your own if you feel the urge in you. It's just an offer. But what I want to show you is just the idea that usually when the jaw is clenched and tensed, it influences the rest of the body, because this is the highest vertebra. Here the head is balancing. So if the jaw is tensed, there's also tension in the neck. And when there's tension in the neck, there's also tension in the shoulders. And when there's tension in the shoulders, there's tension in the back. And when there's tension in the back, there's tension in the hips. And when there's tension in the hips, there's tension in the legs and feet and so forth. So, in other words, when we are able to unlock these connection of the jaw and the neck, if we are able to find a little relief, then this influences the rest of the body as described. And this is something you can experience and you can practice and find out on your own. So what I want to invite you to is to give some attention to your jaw and just see if you're able to let your chin hang a little bit. So because we can't do it directly, we can't do it by willpower. These muscles don't open by willpower, but we can have an indirect approach. And this approach is I'm allowing to let my chin hang out here. And you might say, okay, this looks a little bit stupid and a little bit unnatural, but the opposite is the tension and the clenched jaw, which ties up all the rest here, all the rest. So what we are doing, we're going a little bit to the opposite, allowing the jaw to hang. And then you might recognize, okay, so also my tongue plays a part and plays a role here. And you can just allow the tip of your tongue to rest under this lower jaw, behind your teeth. Let it rest there, a little bit open. Yeah, and then if you are able to be in this sensation for a few seconds only, just 5-6 seconds. And then from there you can observe what does this relief is causing, what is it doing in the rest of your body. Is there a change? And for me it's quite obvious that when I do this for a few seconds, I feel relief in my neck. I feel also more space in my chest, for example, and less tension in my shoulders. Excuse me. And so what happens is that the moment I take my attention away from it, it usually starts to tense up again. Going back to this anxiety cycle, this fear cycle, this being dragged by the symptoms. And so it became a very strong pattern, and therefore this just described awareness needs some repetition. So in other words, I decide again to drop my jaw, drop my chin, let the tongue rest behind the teeth. And again, I'm feeling what is happening now. So if I do so, I experience again a tiny little relief in my body. And now you might say, oh my goodness, what can I do about it? Should I do this the whole day long? Because you experience that there is so much tension, still there is. And this little awareness exercise might give you an idea or even a direct experience that there's a change, but also the habit of tensing and holding is very strong. It was developed over many years, maybe. And of course, like all these things, we just can't change it within 1 minute. We can't change the whole picture, even though we can experience something new in this moment. Means if I really do this, I again experience there's less tension while I do it. But to do it 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 20 times doesn't change the whole habit, but it changes something gradually when you do it continuously. And I've spoken about other ways of working on yourself, and the headline always was that it needs repetition, it needs some consistency. And I also found that everybody is unique, and all these tools I'm offering here, including this one, it needs practice and it needs consistency, but it also needs to, you need to be curious about exploration, because if you're not curious and if you just want to do it to get rid of some symptoms or you want some quick fix, it won't work. And so what I'm offering here is not about giving you a tool to fix anything. It's not about that. It's just to have a tool to be more open within yourself, to open up even when symptoms are there. And so the consistency means like there is this tendency of holding, there is the tendency of tension in the jaw, tension in the shoulders, tensing in the tension in the entire body maybe. And I just want to show, if you start from here, you indirectly influence all the other parts. And that's the main thing, and that's the main benefit. And even if you just sense a tiny difference in the beginning, if you feel, oh yeah, this is not the big change, but there is something happening in me, and I just have an idea what a relief could mean, then I want to encourage you to keep going, because this is just a practice you can practice it each and every day in several situations along the day. But also I want to speak about the pitfalls of this, because what easily can happen is, like, as I already said, is like we're assuming you're having some success with this and you feel you have some relief and you have some good experiences in the beginning, you might use it to fix something in you. And this won't work, because it's really important that you just do it as a kind of practice without any, you're not looking for any results. You just do it because you're curious how these things work, how easily the tension comes back, and it's like a wave you're holding, and then you have the new impulse you're giving. Open, open, jaw hanging. And then there's something that becomes more neutral and calm. And this influences the nervous system, of course. because when we are tensed, the nervous system gets a stress response. So we feel the stress. The stress is in the body. And as long there is a stress in the body, the nervous system thinks we're in danger. And it keeps firing the alarm and the symptoms and so on. And besides all your inner work, this can be a really helpful tool with repetition to have an indirect influence on your symptoms by deciding, okay, so maybe you're in the supermarket and then at one moment you realize, oh my God, I'm standing there and I have this tension. So just this slight opening will change something in you. And so what's very important is the focus is not on the sensations. And so when you do this so-called exercise, you're not trying to get over the symptoms, first of all, but also you don't want to be focused on them and measure, are my symptoms reducing, are they more intense, whatever. So you just straight work on relief. And then what happens, happens. This is not in our hands anymore, but it's something that influences the whole system. And with time, you will realize that this approach will become a new pattern, and it will become more playful with time, because another pitfall is that you want to take care that you're not too focused on allowing the jaw to be open and the chin to hang and the tongue behind the teeth. You don't want to concentrate on this. In the beginning, it will require some more effort in the beginning. You might feel a little bit tensed, but the more you are just used to it, you just do it like as if there's a fly and you just use your hand and the fly is leaving. So you just do it. Okay, I'm just doing it. And that's it. No big deal, no over concentration. I just do it. I just realize in my daily activities that I'm tensing, and I remind myself the jaw can drop. And that's all. And if you are able to do this, even when you are active, when you're standing, when you're doing your dishes, when you're cleaning up, when you're lying on your couch, wherever you are, driving the car, whatever you're doing, remind yourself, okay. And if you're on public places and then you don't want to run around like this open mouth, then just do it a tiny opening, but the lips can be against each other. You see, my mouth is not open, but still I'm in this awareness that the jaw is hanging. And I feel there's less tension. And something calms down. And very important, we don't want to hold it. We don't want to hold the opening. you decide, and then you leave it again. And maybe if you just do this 10 times a day, 20 times a day, or if you're able more often, just the moments where you're too tensed, yeah, and you can observe when you're hanging on your phone, whatever you do, if you watch a funny video or you answer a message or whatever you do, reading an email, whatever you do, social media, whatever you do, I can guarantee you that your jaw will be tensed. And especially in these moments, it's a great opportunity to remind yourself from time to time to just let go a little bit, just a little bit. And with time, this becomes a new pattern. And yeah, try and find it out. And don't, you might have some sensations in the very beginning, and you might be even enthusiastic. It might be possible, but it's really about to allow it however you feel. If you're totally tensed, if you're totally fine, do it every now and then. Don't get stuck, don't get fixed on this new idea, but it lives through repetition. So this is my hint for the day, and I hope you can use it. So yeah, if you like this channel, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. I'm always happy to have some exchange with you people, and I hope you have a great day and hope you can enjoy practicing. So bye for now.